Last week here at SuperBowl Lanes, the field was dominated by Vi McKinney, shooting .646, 50 pins ahead of the rest of the field. Vi, how do you account for the large gap between you and your next opponent?
Well, I bowled a shift before I shot the .646, and I just kept trying to adjust to the condition, and I ended up playing outside, which is my most comfortable spot to play, and I was just fortunate enough to carry.
Well, adjustments in this game are probably one of the most important things to do, and adjusting from that outside line in, you obviously did a great job. Are you used to bouncing around back and forth?
Yes.
Okay, well, Vi, you did a great job. On behalf of the BPA, $200, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Terry Saccone now waiting for game number 2 after rolling a .226 in his first game. He will take on Ron Pollard. Pollard from Versailles, Indiana, 22 years old. And a .210 bowling average. And starts out right.
Hacksaw Pollard, lane 7, rips the pins out to start. Put a little fear into this man right here.
I don't think Terry's afraid of anything at this point. He opened in the first frame of game 1, and then after that it was strikes and spares all the way.
This man knows no fear. We're going to say these are the heavyweights going at it, Todd. Terry Saccone.
Terry has been king 5 times in the King of Bowling, and he was the overall TV king in 1980. And he starts out with a double.
Hold on to your bootstraps. Watch Terry here. Second frame, big shot. Always a big shot when you're going for a double. Gets through the ball with a lot of power. Ball driving through all the pins in the pit. Yes, he likes it.
Ron Pollard started bowling at the age of 5 in Japan at the Fuchu Air Force Base. That's where his dad was stationed at the time.
Oh, he wanted that one. He really wanted that one. Going a little high, leaving the 4-pin. Still a good shot. Shoot this from right to left, going across the lane.
Picks it up.
One of the high scores from yesterday at this current point, like you said before, Todd, Don Scudder at 734, but Alan Down, 718. Maybe one of the hottest bowlers in the city right now. He was the winner of the city match game title a few months ago. Last week, look at the sheet here.
Unbelievable.
Alan Down, 695. Alan Down, 691, 689, and Bo said she threw out 3 honor scores. Not honor scores, but cash-in scores, as we're going to watch Ron Pollard strike here. On the footwork, excellent. Gets through the ball, a lot of power. He likes it. The ball's going to drive straight through. 10 pins in the pit, doing its job. 40 in the second. Terry Saccone has the potential to take a 20-pin lead. You see the motion he made with his hand there, Todd? That's the only way you're going to leave an 8-10. Well, there's 2 ways. With a very bad rack, or if you flip the ball. What I mean by that is go around it early, the wrist break back. The ball's going to lose all its drive and finish, leaving the 8 deflecting and the pocket, and leaving the 10-pin fern open.
And so Terry is open in the 3rd. Hey, our thanks to the people here at SuperBowl this week. Doug Martin, the proprietor, assistant manager Bob Snodgrass Sr. Beautiful lanes here, 68 Brunswick lanes. Again, next week we will be at Northwest. Come on out and watch our show. We always love the crowd. Terry, solid in the 4th.
Solid is right, Todd. It is as weak as the other ball was. This ball made up for it. Let's take a look at Terry here. open frame will not bother a good bowler. Comes right back with the strongest shot of the match so far. Head pin going to the wall, coming off, just ripping pins out of there, looking for something else to knock down. These two have squared off many, many times in match play.
And Ron leaves the 10. Ron has 4 300 games to his credit and 3 800 series. And he has been the king of bowling once. He'd like to make it twice today. He lists among his hobbies as golf. You know, all these bowlers, it seems, are golfers in the summertime. They all love golf in the summertime, bowling in the wintertime.
Well, not only that, Ty, we love golf, but we're bowling all through the summer also. We've got a lot of tournaments that we go to. Most of us bowl in a league. It's a year-round sport, actually. Bowling is a year-round sport, but sure, we like to get out and, as Butkus says, chase birdies.
But I think it's interesting, though, how many bowlers are also golfers.
It's the individual sport that you're looking at. There's one man doing one job at a time in both sports. Two very weak shots. Ron has moved in. He's catching the oil too long. He's got to do one of two things. Either he has to swing the ball out to the dry area and come back, let the ball hit a little harder, or go a little straighter and hit the ball firmer. Circling the ball in the oil is death.
Picks it up. Might add that next week is Bowl Down Cancer Week. Competition will be during league play. Donation for adults will be $1.50 and youngsters $1.
Our alternate, Mike Niehaus, been around the game for a long, long time. Just missed 696. Terry Saccone aced him out in the 10th frame last week. And that's how he did it.
Boy, rolling a 696 and not making it to the TV step-ladder format.
It was a heartbreaker. Terry Saccone going to put the pressure on Ron Pollard right here. Perfectly executed strike. Every pin doing its job. Left lane, Terry Saccone can make a real match out of this right now. The handball glove is doing the job.
With the exception of the 3rd frame, nothing but strikes for Terry Saccone.
As you see there, he has a 7-pin advantage with a double up, makes it 17. And Ron Pollard cuts it back to 7 pins.
Everything is going right for these guys today, it seems like.
It's a big shot. Anytime you can get the deficit down under 10 pins, you're doing your job. On the replay, Ron, perfect execution, good arm swing, excellent roll. Contrast, look at the 6-pin, climb the wall, just beat up on the 10-pin. Last 2 frames, it was laying there going to sleep.
Bring it in.
A little high on that head pin.
Both bowlers having a little footing problem on the left lane here. Going a little high. Well, there's no footing problems there. He's motioning that he did, but I didn't see any. Looked like a case of the chicken wing to me.
Now, wait a second. I'm not going to let you get away without explaining the chicken wing.
We just kind of talk about if you chicken wing one, it's like you flip your elbow out to the right. And you kind of look like a chicken trying to fly out there. And what that does, it'll cause you to get your ball inside of your target every time. It's probably the most common mistake made by the better bowler.
Now you've got people looking for chicken wings out here.
Chicken wings and hootie.
Terry Saccone keeps knocking them down.
Let's take a look at Terry's footwork and then go to the shot. A little side step there on his second one, a little stutter step. Not the most textbook approach, but what a strike. head pin going to the wall, coming off, wedging itself between the 4 and the 7 for a triple, a 4-bagger.
When you bowl like this guy is, you throw out the textbook. Gets him again. 5 strikes in a row now for Terry Saccone.
Let's watch his shot, Todd. His expression will tell you what's going to go on. Now the head pin, he's barely going to hit the head pin. He's going to fall off to the right, see the ball deflect the head pin, going to the wall, coming off, hitting the 4 into the 5, and then taking out the 7. Big break for Terry Saccone.
Pollard heavy on the head pin.
It was a crucial frame for Ron Pollard. The right lane, he had to hit it. He actually had to take it out to put any kind of pressure back on Terry Saccone. Terry at this point is going to coast plus 38 at this particular point. It's a lot of pins to try to make up in 2 frames, and it's impossible to do unless your opponent gives you a hand.
As we said, a 38 pin advantage for Terry Saccone as we head to the 9th frame. You know, the Super Bowl is the annual host for the Professional Bowlers Association regional tournament here in December. WLWT has carried the finals the last 2 years, and the last 2 years in a row, Steve Fair of Cincinnati has won the tournament both times. And this past year, who was finished 3rd, Dave?
Some gimp-legged bowler named Dave.
Named Dave Newrath, correct.
It was about all over but the shouting here. Ron went with another shot that hit very, very weak. 8-10, once more. He'll take one, finish out with whatever he can get. Terry Saccone is going to go on to meet our king, Don Scott.
You know, the Super Bowl here is on the waiting list for a national PBA Tour event in the winter of 1985. So more and bigger and better bowling coming to the tri-state area.
And justly so. People in this town deserve it. They love their bowling, and they deserve a national stop. Terry Saccone on his way to a potential 266 game with an open frame.
Well, he's got 6 strikes in a row. And 8 strikes in the game.
Matter of fact, that TV show was held on, like I told you before, on this very pair, and this pair treated me kindly. It yields some high scores, as we're seeing right here.
A possible 266 to go with his first game of 226. Wow.
High scoring. Big balls going down the lane and just ripping pins out of there. Should have an exciting finishing match for today's show, Todd. Got the ball in.
You know, one more strike for Terry, and if it were not for that 3rd frame, we would have seen a perfect game here on the BPA King of Bowling.
It's been a lot of years, but we've got the talent, Todd, and I just can't believe that it's been so many years, because we've got some super bowlers in this city. Here we go.
Look at that. All strikes and 1 open frame for Terry Saccone. He finishes with a 266. Ron starts the 10th with a strike. He can finish with a 195. But when you face a guy who rolls a 266,
tough to beat. Oh, sure, he says, sure.
Ron says, now I get the ball. Now I get the roll.
It's almost automatic, Ty. When you don't need them,
look at that scorecard.
They are going to carry.
Look at that scorecard. 11 strikes for Terry Saccone, and open in the 3rd frame. And Ron Pollard finishes in grand fashion with 3 strikes in the 10th frame to go 195. But Terry Saccone with a 266 in this game, 226 in the first game. Terry Saccone will advance to our championship game and take on our king, Don Scudder. That's next on the BPA King of Bowling.